welcome to the artist stage at Jenny Brook. And of course we have the Feinberg brothers and Dad, of course. The whole band, two of the Feinberg brothers, they gave Terry and Pete the afternoon, or this particular set off anyway. Who knows what havoc they're wreaking, right? But anyhow, right now we're going to start off. We'll listen to a song from the Feinbergs, and then we'll talk a little bit as we go through. And if you have any questions, we'll save some time at the end as well. Okay, so let's get them going here. The Feinberg brothers.
All right. Yeah.
Here, and we'll start. You guys can introduce yourselves. How's that?
All
Make
right.
it official here.
Well, this fella over here playing the guitar, he's our father, and he's Ron Feinberg.
Yeah. All right.
Played a lot of bands over the years, been to a lot of festivals, done some good stuff, taught us how to pick and sing and all that, taught us who to listen to, and we're awful proud to call him our father. So there you go.
And I'm Rourke Feinberg, and that's my brother Patrick Feinberg.
Yeah. He's 19, I'm 17.
Ain't much more to it.
No. Well, I hope so.
There's a lot more to it.
No, so tell us, when did you all start playing together? I mean, obviously your dad, did he beat you over the head at one point and say, okay, Rourke, here's a fiddle, learn how to play it? Or,
No, he didn't go that far.
Yeah, obviously you must have enjoyed it a little bit.
Yeah, well, there was always music going around the house, and we were always going to jobs and stuff that he was playing at locally, so we always...
So you brought them to the
Just
festivals then and let them absorb it that way.
Yep. And then he brought home a couple of guitars. One he picked out of the dumpster at his school. They were throwing out. There was nothing wrong with it. And he got another one for like $20 or something. So
Wow.
there was the guitars. He always had fiddles, a couple mandolins here and there. So
When they were real small, we had these plastic electric guitars, and they broke the headstocks off them so they'd be about the size of a mandolin. And we used to go to the local Bluegrass club jam, and they would bring those. They didn't make any sound, but they pretended to play them. They'd be like maybe 3 and 4 years old at the time, Just always tried to make it a good time.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, how else is the music going to continue if you don't get some young blood in here?
yeah,
You
if you
guys
don't
are
want to do it, then
holding it up. That's right. So you're from Long Island, I know. Did everybody here go to see these guys play this morning on the main stage?
Absolutely.
Okay. They were on it once already. They'll be back later this afternoon. But first time for these boys in Vermont.
that's right.
Very nice.
Mighty fine, mighty fine.
I'll tell you what, a lot less humid than Long Island. We like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we left home yesterday. It was like 90 degrees. Got up here and it was 65 degrees or something like that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. Escape the heat.
So you started out playing your little plastic guitars, but then what made you decide you wanted to play other instruments?
Well, I guess my dad always played the fiddle, so both me and my brother play the fiddle, and we have a sister at home. She plays the violin. She doesn't, she plays it, but me and Patrick enjoyed it the most, and we always played that. And then Patrick picked up the guitar. He's a mighty fine guitar player, too, and he plays the mandolin. I play a little mandolin, too, but that's kind of how it went along. We both liked the fiddle a lot. That's what my dad played, so.
You get a Larry Sparks record or a Jimmy Martin record or something and says, there you go. Well, what does he play? He plays the guitar. Well, I'm going to play the guitar.
Now, see, the names you're saying, though, you think of guys your age, 17, 19, you think they're into the more progressive types of bluegrass or the jamgrass types of bands. I don't hear that from you guys so much.
You probably won't.
Oh, well.
That's okay with us.
So, do you have a favorite of the first generation types of performers, or?
Well, I think it's kind of Bill Monroe. That's the obvious one. But then after that, it's always Flat Scruggs, Jimmy Martin, people like that. With Smiley.
So when you decided you wanted to form your band, do you remember what the first song was you played as a band?
First song we played as a band.
Wow.
How about one of the first songs?
Probably
you played as a band?
The problem with that is that the band kind of was formed long before it was a band,
Right,
because we
right,
played
right.
around the house and we sang and
We were always picking
okay,
together
how
and
about
stuff.
numbers that you remember singing around the house? I mean, were there any particular songs?
yeah,
that
there's
stuck
plenty
out
of them,
as
and
favorites?
a lot of them are going to be on our next album called "Songs Our Mother Hates."
The Knoxville Girl.
Yeah, the Knoxville Girl. Let's do that one. The Knoxville
Oh,
Girl. That's one they used to sing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
I met a little girl in Knoxville, a town we all know well. And every Sunday evening down in her home I dwell. We went to take an evening walk about a mile from town. I picked a stick up off the ground and knocked that fair girl down. She fell down on her bended knees, for mercy she did cry. Oh, Willie dear, don't kill me here, I'm not prepared to die. She never spoke another word, I only beat her more, until the ground around me within her blood did flow. I took her by her golden curls and drug her round and round. Tossed her into the river that flows through Knoxville town. Go down, you Knoxville girl, with your dark and rolling eyes. Go down, you Knoxville girl, you can never be my bride. They carried me down to Knoxville town and locked me in a cell. My friends all tried to get me out, but none could go my back. Now I sit and write my life away in this small and dirty old cell, because I murdered that Knoxville girl, the girl I love so well.
Yeah.
I should think. I didn't see that at any talent shows at school or anything.
No.
They don't really have talent shows after school.
Now that's pretty funny. So, in school, let's talk about school a little bit. You did you played the violin at school.
Yeah.
I know. And Patrick, do you do the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the orchestra there.
Okay. And you do the orchestras at school and things, but Rourke, I seem to recall that you played it. Was it a state
Yeah.
concert or something?
Yeah, they have an all-state orchestra in New York, and I got into that. So went up there to, I think it was Rochester, played there for a weekend.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A little bit different from this, I would think.
Yeah, that's for sure. Not staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning picking, you know?
So do you think that your classical background helps you play these mournful fiddle tunes and things, or are they totally different worlds for you?
Well, kind of where it mixes in is a little different. You know, it doesn't help with the soul of playing it. You know, it doesn't help with the feeling. But with, I guess, all the technical stuff and being in tune and bow changes and stuff like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess the classical kind of helps me with that. But I don't think it helps with being able to play, you know, all the old sad tunes and stuff like that.
Well, probably not. But slightly tongue-in-cheek there. So,
Rourke still plays in the Stony Brook Orchestra where he goes to college now as well.
Okay. Very nice.
And Patrick did an audition for All-State Orchestra this past May.
Yeah.
And he got 100, so we'll see if he makes it or not. You know, you have to have 100 to make it, but just because you have 100 doesn't necessarily mean you make it.
Then you will make it. Okay.
So we have to see what happens, but we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you have a little sample of your any kind of classical music you want to
Been a while, that's for sure. Let's see. Oh no, there's. I'll probably forget it after the first line or something like that. Yeah, I forget just about all of it actually.
Well, that is all right. That's all right.
You know, sometimes you might be able to get it going. Not today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. So we know there's a long-standing tradition of brother duet singing in country music, and of course, you know, there's plenty of examples of that here at this festival this weekend between the Spinneys and the Gibsons and
Soul Boys,
Soul Boys, right? And you guys. What do you think that the whole, I don't know, when you sing your harmony part, or when you sing as a brother duet, you tend to switch off parts sometimes.
Yeah.
More Lubin-esque than, you know, just, it seems like you do anyway. I mean, you're what am I trying to say? You're more comfortable, you know, swapping it off from time to time.
Yeah. Well, I think, because mainly, pretty much all we listened to growing up was Jimmy Martin. It was Jimmy Martin and...
Kind of got that impression.
Jimmy Martin and a little Larry Sparks, you know, Bill Monroe, a lot of Bill Monroe in there, but those were the main two, I guess. And Jimmy Martin does that a lot with Paul Warren and stuff like that. You know, Jimmy Martin will switch to the lead during the chorus or something like that.
Yeah.
Or even with Jim and Jesse, Jim will get the high tenor, the high lead, I mean.
Right.
And so they just stack them under there, kind of like the Osborne brothers do too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably gets up there on the high lead.
And that's where Dad hops in.
Gets the baritone.
You know, sometimes, especially lately, Patrick's voice has dropped tremendously over the last year and a half. And stuff that we used to do in the key of B went to B flat, down to A, down to F, down to E, and we have one that even went all the way down to D, as his voice kept dropping. And as it did that, Rourke and I, and Patrick too, on the harmony parts, in order to make the song sound good, we had to voice it differently than we had been doing, you know. So a lot of times we'll sit down with a song and we'll try and switch the parts around and get it sounding good again. Mm-hmm. And if we can't get it sounding good, we just don't do it.
Right.
You know, because not every song is going to fit every group vocally.
Right.
You know, so if we can get it to where we like it, then we'll do it. But if we can't, we won't. You know. And with that, you know, now some new material starting to come in. you know, and stuff. And Patrick used to really be able to sing high, and that's kind of
Right up there like Joe.
In fact, we could do that one. Funny old London.
Break it out.
Break it out. Come on over here, Joe. We met Joe several years ago at Podunk Bluegrass Festival when these guys here. Oh, you're gonna.
I'll go around the other side.
Well,
Come right in between the two of us here.
We got a shot at you.
I didn't dress for the occasion, though.
Joe is an amazing, amazing powerhouse tenor singer.
Yeah.
Good guitar player as well.
Mm-hmm.
And last year we went to the Podunk Bluegrass Festival just to hang out. We had a free weekend, and Joe was there, and the boys and Joe got to sing in this song, this old Jimmy Martin song, "Foggy Old London." You're gonna make me play that. And it's light. They had a lot of fun with it, so see if we can get them to do it here. I forget what year you did it.
Up there and F, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was E.
One of the two.
It's better go with E.
Yeah.
Might have to remind me of the words a little too.
Start strumming there.
Wrong one there.
What's that?
Wrong one.
We're not doing E?
No, I think it's, oh yeah. Deep blue is the ocean, it's so deep and wide, and I've got an ocean, I'll cross it tonight, and I'll fly like a bluebird up there in the sky, in foggy old London, I'll find my blue line. When your letter came, I opened to find you had been crying while writing each line, but you never mentioned no reason for tears. In foggy old London, it's so far from here. Deep blue is the ocean, it's so deep and wide, and I've got an ocean, I'll cross it tonight, and I'll fly like a bluebird up there in the sky. In foggy old London, I'll find my blue eyes. In foggy old London, I'll find my blue
Thanks, Joe. You the man.
man. Oh, there it is.
Don't be stealing that pick now.
No, I got one just like it.
Oh,
That's what you get for coming by here.
Yeah.
Put you to work.
So that's the
That's
beauty
not
of
work.
going to these festivals. You get to sing with so many people that you don't get to sing with normally.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It's fun. So I'm curious now. You boys obviously were immersed in the bluegrass, but when you go into a school situation with kids your own age, what do they think you're kind of like? What is this stuff you're listening to, or do you try to get them into it a little bit?
Oh well. That's a good one. We don't. It's kind of school, so you focus kind of on what's in school. You don't really. It doesn't really get brought up that often, but when it does get brought up, it's kind of just that's what the Feinbergs do, They're,
Yeah.
They hand you a violin in the beginning of the orchestra period, and then 10 minutes later, when everybody's ready to go, everybody's in tune or whatever, they start. But for those 10 minutes, you can't just sit there and look at it. So you start playing it, and then people start hearing it, and then some of them start to take on to it and say, "What's that?" And then others clog their ears or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds about right.
That's okay with me. Ain't gonna stop me from playing.
Obviously, you guys have the fire. There's no doubt about that. It seems like you're very expressive in your vocals. You don't look like you're going, like, oh, geez, I'm just standing up here because Dad is making us do this. You look like you're actually enjoying yourself.
Yeah,
so,
we're glad to be here.
And you're dressing the part, too, I see. Your suits always remind me of, I think it was Jim and Jesse album cover that I'm thinking of. It was pretty darn close to suits
Yeah,
like
could be.
this, so... That's pretty fun. So, did you have another number you want to pick out? Maybe, I don't know, anything of your choice, I guess. Then we'll talk about your record.
Want a twin fiddle? You guys want to hear some twin fiddle?
Yeah, sure. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Patrick's getting the fiddle. I guess I'll think of one, and then hopefully he'll remember how to do it.
Don't think out loud.
One of the funniest things that happened, especially when Rourke was really learning to play bluegrass fiddle, is our computer is in the kitchen, and all the homework gets done at the kitchen table. So Patrick was sitting there doing his homework for quite a while, probably about an hour or so. And the whole time Patrick was doing his homework, Rourke was over at the computer with his fiddle on YouTube.
No, that was the Art Stamper one, the Casey Jones.
Oh, peeling it
off the record there.
Peeling it off the record, a little bit at a time, getting it, a little at a time, getting it. Meanwhile, Patrick's sitting at the kitchen table, kind of taking it all in, hearing all Rourke's mistakes, hearing what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. So, hour passes by, finally Rourke knows the tune, he plays it. Patrick gets up, grabs his fiddle, and just plays it. Rourke, did all the work for him. I won't tell you exactly what Rourke said, but it wasn't the nicest.
That's okay.
Not fair. How can you do that?
Some of us just gotta be the winners.
Brotherly love. That's brotherly love in action.
Let's see.
That's it.
How about you want to do that Brown County Breakdown, something like that?
Yeah, sure.
Have a new record out.
Yes, we do.
In case anybody hasn't seen it, I think you still have a few copies available.
No,
about 2,499.
But this is pretty hot off the presses, is it not?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, this is actually our very first gig
Okay.
out with them.
But you recorded it last year, is that right?
Last summer, in August, we recorded it in September with Bob Harris. He used to play guitar for Vassar Clemens, and he has a studio in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it's got your band that you're working with these days. Terry and Pete are on here.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. It's a great combination. Whoops! As I throw it on the floor or ground, there is a great combination of standard songs that you're going to be familiar with, but there's also a few originals on here as well. That they kind of mix things up a little bit, and all very traditional sounding, of course. So I would encourage you. They're not paying me, but I would still encourage you to go and visit their record table after a while and make sure you go home with one of these.
Do you collaborate on your songwriting?
Mainly the old man.
Yeah.
He does all the collaborating by himself there.
Well, back in his day.
Yeah, I haven't really written too much lately. I have a bunch of songs that I wrote a while back. But Rourke wrote one a while back. We just haven't done it yet. And that's something that we definitely need to do more of as things progress for us as a young band. The original material is really where it's at, and those are the songs that will set you apart. from other bands, because no matter how much you try, Jimmy Martin could do Jimmy Martin songs better than anybody else. And we're never going to touch him, and we're never going to touch Flatt and Scruggs at their songs, or Bill Monroe at his songs, or the Osborne Brothers, you know. So the best thing you can do really is come up with your own material and put your stamp on it. And so that's the road that is ahead of us that needs to be traveled.
Pete's got a new one he's waiting to show us, one called, That's Just Lonesome. He keeps talking about it. He's like, I gotta get a guitar in my hand and show you. So, we'll see how that one goes.
I think with your own material, that'd be a way to keep the traditional sound alive and fresh, and people say, wow, what a great song. It's something you've done yourself, you know. It's not something that was done 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right.
Keep it alive in a good way.
One thing about wrote two of the tunes that are on our new CD, so that was nice of him. He gave us those tunes to do, and
mighty fine tunes too.
one of the things Patrick likes to do is mess around with his grammar quite a bit. You know, it aggravates his mother, and it gets a rise out of her, and he finds it funny, and Mom not so much. But Pete wrote this song called "I Do," and when he had never heard us sing it until we got into the studio. We never had time to arrange it, so we kind of had to arrange it quick and record it. So we arranged it at home, and Terry and Pete just kind of learned it right at the studio. But one of the things we did to Pete was we messed around with the grammar, because that's what Patrick does. So we started singing the song, and we called it "Me Does." And Pete's jaw just like dropped down. Like, what are you doing to my song?
Like, what's wrong, Pete?
Yeah, right.
He goes, "I do, I do, I do." And went, "Me does, me does, me does." We could hardly keep a straight face, but it was a lot of fun. I'm sorry, Clyde, I cut you off.
Now, one thing I do like, if you do a original material and you're doing a 45-minute set on the stage, it's nice to hear some of the old stuff mixed in with that, and not to have a whole 45 minutes of songs we never heard before,
Right.
you know, kind of thing. And the other thing I would say to you is you can be really proud that you have these two fellows as a part of your family.
Thanks,
You
Clyde.
can be really proud of them, because we are.
Thanks.
We're really proud of them.
Thank you, Clyde.
I am very proud of them. And, I'm proud of their sister as well. And I lucked out somehow.
You sure
You know?
did. Sure did.
Yeah, I lucked out.
Could have done a hell of a lot worse.
There you go, yeah. No words of wisdom here.
Well, I think it's interesting, like Clyde said, if you do the traditional songs, but you're not picking traditional songs that have been done 45 million times. You're finding things that are very deep catalog. So how do you go about finding those sorts of songs?
Well, it's kind of, you know, like with the Bluegrass Swing, that was never recorded. That's a Monroe Spiker tune there. And my dad played with this guy, Pete Kelly, for a long while, and he was a real great banjo player. Yep. But anyhow, he was really great, and he gave us a tape of Bill Monroe playing on the Opry in '65, and that was one of the tunes on there. So, you know, so stuff like that. You know, you get it here and there. Yep, and mainly things like that. You know, and you just kind of know people who kind of snakes its way to you. You know?
Yes.
And the other thing, too, like around the house, when they used to sing songs, they didn't know any of them. You know, and they didn't know what was a war horse and what wasn't.
Right.
So a lot of times, they were just singing these obscure things that I didn't even remember were on the records, you know, like, where did you guys get that? Oh, it's on that box set, you know, and they're like, you know, and, but it was the ones that they liked, you know, so they didn't realize what the hits were and what was not a hit. You
When
know,
you're 7 years old, you don't get around that much, so you know, you listening to the thing, you don't know what's been worn out at all these bluegrass festivals or what. So you hear a song, you like it, and start playing it.
It's kind of funny how sometimes the ones you like the best are the ones that, you know, aren't exactly the hits. You know, just pull them out of nowhere.
That same thing happened to me when I was in the Army, stationed in Germany. One of the guys came back for Christmas vacation and bought some 45s back with him. and we were playing the B-sides and saying, what a great song. And they're saying, that's not the number one hit, it's the other side. We didn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Same thing with you, you know.
Yeah. You know, and being so into bluegrass myself, you know, I had a lot of folks that used to come over to the house just to play. There was a guy who lives by us who was just a monster singer. His name is Dave Thompson. He moved out to California after a while, and he played with that Butch Waller out there, I think, High Country. And I know he's also played with Laurie Lewis a little bit. And he lives like 2 miles from my house. Ernie Sykes Jr. lives maybe 12 miles away from me.
I live in the bedroom next door, don't get me.
Yeah, I was in a band with Andy Falco and Pat Falco. Andy's now in the String Dusters. And Mike Cleveland's been over to the house. Dave Hampton from Pennsylvania. Terry, of course, and Pete Elegant and Keith Edwards. And then when we go to the Bluegrass festivals, a lot of the campsites around and everything are so friendly. And they invited the kids in. That's how we met Joe Singleton and Les and Chris. You know, it was pouring rain one day. We were walking around, and these guys saw us. Hey, come on in under our tent. Invited us in, and we played. You know, we made new friends, and all these people in the festivals had something to do with, you know, the boys learning to love bluegrass music because they helped make it fun. They taught them songs. You know, they were like sponges. So there's so many people in the Northeast that really have helped these two kids that probably don't even really know it, you know, just by inviting them in.
Yeah. Nice. Those are nice memories to have.
Mm-hmm.
So with the new record, what do you have a favorite song off of here? You're probably not going to want to play all of them because you're going to want to save something for the big stage, but was there something on here how did you decide what you were going to record? Was it a democratic process, or was it, did you have to narrow down a really long list of things to record, or what did you do?
Well, I think it was kind of, we just knew what we played, and then we kind of picked the ones that we played well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just some songs we had to put on there, like you know, songs we've been doing for a while, or original songs. My dad's got like "Bury Me on a Mountain" and "Bergold's Farm," and Pete's tunes. I do "The Drifter,"
Yeah.
and then there's tunes that like "Train 45" kind of have to play it in B because it's in B. But if you're gonna sing it like I did on the record, you're not gonna be able to sing it forever, especially when your voice is dropping. So do it while you still can. So
that's what
that
shoot
helps.
the bear when he's there. So
Exactly. Yeah. Don't let him get out too far where you can't get a killing shot on him.
Yeah, we tried to, you know, mix it up a little bit, get both boys singing lead, and there were some things like that. You know, I want to make sure that we split it up and
Get some duets and trios on there.
yeah. And I think the only warhorse that's on that CD is Train 45, and we do that with twin fiddles and singing.
Yeah.
And I have never heard anybody else do it that way other than Bill Monroe.
Yeah, you
Are you going to do that on stage tonight, or can you do it here?
Well, we can do it here and on stage. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Sounds good.
You want to do a little bit of that?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Put her up a B there.
See if I can hold on.
Hopefully.
track training. Yeah, well, the only thing we had of that was I was just clucking around on the computer.
There you go.
On the videos there, and up came Bill Monroe playing the Train 45, and there it was. I said, I'm going to sing that.
So for all the folks who think that the internet is just full of crap and it's the work of the devil,
it's got some bluegrass on there.
Can't be all bluegrass off there.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a lot of videos that they took and only they have or whatever, and then they put that up on the.
We won't talk about the legality of any of those videos.
Yeah,
but they're nice.
But then you can see them and you see all these live performances.
Yeah. There's music, save the music.
Yeah. It's not like Bill Monroe's around anymore, or Jim and Jesse, or Carter Stanley, or Red Smiley, So for young people to see the first generation people, that's the best source for it right there.
And plus, you could have, our grandparents have a whole bunch of records, they have pretty much everybody. But, you could have all the records, but the live stuff is always the best. A lot of times it's hard to find the live stuff.
That's true. Oh, yeah.
And that's where YouTube is such a wonderful resource.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So from the time you were playing, your first time on the stage, how old were you?
Oh, well, that was probably,
about 10.
Yeah, I think that might have been with Straight Drive, Terry McGill's band at the time. And, I'm not sure exactly when that was, but I remember one time it was at the Oats Festival. Yeah, there was one time.
Right.
That was one of the earlier times.
That's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That was a good festival. That was right by Dave Hampton's house. Actually, he was playing with the band. Good old Dave Hampton.
Yeah.
And that's one of the earliest times I can remember.
Did a lot of folks come up to you and were really encouraging to you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I think we did. Don't Sell Daddy Any More Whiskey. I think that's what the number was.
One of my favorite, Joe Valson. Yes.
That one and
No Molly O'Day number.
I think we did Heartaches by the Number.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I remember that went over well.
Mm-hmm. And you got to play on the stage with Danny Paisley. Is that right?
Yeah. That might have even been earlier.
That was before.
Yeah. That was at Picking in the Pasture.
Okay.
Yeah. We went over and played a couple songs for him, and he says, "You're coming up on stage for a couple tunes," and that's what we did.
Wow.
That was a treat.
Yeah, man.
And then you said, "Okay, we can do this. We were gonna." You didn't go hide in, somewhere.
Yeah, we got up there.
Forget about it, so.
Once again, another example of bluegrass people being really kind to my kids,
Well, it's one thing to be kind to kids that, they're cute, they can, do it. But you guys have the licks to back it up, too. It's not just...
We fake it pretty good, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, have to have a healthy amount of that, too. But, yeah, I mean...
Laugh all the mistakes off.
Yeah. Play as loud as you can, maybe they won't
you
notice.
seem like you're enjoying yourself up there, so that's a good thing. So where will we see the Feinberg brothers performing this summer? All over New England.
Yeah, a lot of places in New England. Yep.
Next weekend we'll be at the Mineral Springs Bluegrass Festival down in Connecticut. And I think the week after that we'll be up in Brandon, Vermont, up at the Basin Bluegrass Festival. Mm-hmm. And maybe the week after that we're up at Hemi.
30th we're at Hemi. The 31st we're in Andover, Connecticut.
Yep.
At the library.
Yep.
We got a couple jobs down on Long Island. A couple local ones.
Yes.
Oh, and we'll be out at Pocono Mountain Bluegrass Festival Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
Yeah.
That's this weekend, too?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We're driving a lot this
Getting
week.
around, yeah.
Getting around.
Good. So, yes, And let me just go back and plug that Andover show just a little bit here. That's actually my library in Connecticut. We're having a show with the Feinbergs. Have a flyer, but you can go home with one. If you're going to be in the area, we'd love to have you, certainly, at the Andover Gazebo on the 31st of July. And I think they're going to be in for a treat, because we do have a lot of folks. We've done these shows in Andover for about 8 years or so, and I do try to brainwash the people of Andover with some bluegrass when I can. But they seem to really enjoy the fiddle numbers, so I think you guys are going to fit right on with that.
Hopefully.
So,
Maybe we'll get my dad to break his fiddle out. Maybe we'll get Pete to break his
know.
fiddle out.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get all four of them.
Yeah.
You never know.
Oh, man.
Now, does Terry play the fiddle too? He could probably play it.
Terry's the
Just
only
about
one in the
everything.
band that doesn't play the fiddle.
Okay.
And he's the only one that plays the banjo, so.
Wow. But aren't
Works
you
out.
working on the banjo? Is that
Yeah, been plinking away at it, I guess you'd say.
well,
Give me 30 years.
all
Yeah.
right. Well, in 30 years, I still have a feeling we're going to be seeing the Feinberg brothers playing at some of these festivals in some configuration or other. I think
Hopefully.
it's in your blood, and it's going to stay there for a good long time.
Hopefully.
So you're studying in school, or Patrick, you're getting ready to start your senior year.
Yep.
Not for a couple months yet.
Yeah, I got it
But,
till September.
And then you're going to think about going into college
Yep.
for...
Orthodontics.
All right.
For what?
The science and
Orthodontics?
math field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to talk to you.
And Rourke is already in college.
Yep. They let me in.
studying. Yep, they let you in, and you get to stay there and everything too. And you're studying to
History.
history,
Kind of law track.
working your way toward.
So when I get sued for something,
Yes, very
screwing up some
nice.
kid's
Yeah.
teeth, I got a lawyer.
Feinberg Brothers is going to need it.
The Feinberg brothers in all sense of the word.
All right. Well, why don't we do one more number, and then maybe we'll open it up for some questions. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. What do you fellas want to pick?
You want to take the fiddle? You want a fiddle one?
No.
All right.
You want to play one on the guitar?
Yeah, somebody's got to take the fiddle out. So I think you're going to have to fiddle one.
I'll scratch away at it, I guess.
All right.
Wow.
I haven't touched the fiddle in quite a long while.
Wow. Wow.
You might as well sing one there, since you got the guitar. Got a number you want to do? Trying to think of the ones you sing around the house that are good. How about that Elijah, that Hank Williams tune? You want to do that?
All right.
All right.
Put her down.
I always like that number.
Poor old Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Elijah was born an Indian standing by the road. He fell in love with the Indian maid over in the antique store. Elijah, too stubborn to ever show a sign, because his heart was made of knotty pine. He always wore his Sunday feathers and Tommy Hawk. The maiden wore her beads and braids and hopes one day he'd call Elijah. Too stubborn to ever let it show, so she could never answer yes or no. Poor Elijah, he never got a kiss. Poor old Elijah, he don't know what he missed. Is it any wonder that his face is red? Elijah, that poor old man. for that poor old wooden.
Yeah. Not too bad on that fiddle there, Pop.
I made him do it.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Hank Williams.
No, sir.
Plenty of good stuff in there, in that catalog too, that Les Conn. Maybe visit some of those one of these days.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, while you were singing that, it made me think of your little I Can't Quit Cigarette song. How did you come up with that one for your band? I mean, that's kind of a different novelty type thing.
As we said before, we grew up on like Jimmy Martin, so
Yep.
that's where that song came from.
Okay.
And we saw that song.
I think he just started playing it one day, you know. We get together, if we get together outside of a gig setting with Pete and Terry, you know, we never play the band stuff. It's always stuff we never play.
Yeah, it's always screwing around.
Yeah, and we also played these brunches in New York. If we had a gig in New York, Pete was able to book us these brunches. And, you get a couple dollars, a couple beers, and a meal. And we kind of just, we'd like get together and we would spend all our time in there playing songs that we never play.
Right.
It's just like picking for money.
Yeah. And Patrick pulled that one out of the sack, you know, and like, dude, we should do that. You know, people would like that.
Especially in that setting, yeah.
You know, break things up a little bit. And,
Pete jumped right in there
Yeah.
with that boss.
Yes. Very good at that.
we have another one coming up in our next set that'll be a surprise, a nice novelty number that Patrick pulled from a different source outside of Bluegrass. And
More jokingly.
yeah, so that'll be a good one. And we've never ever played that song at a show before, so when we play it on stage later, it'll be the very first time ever.
And if you want to find out what it is, you got to come to the show.
That's right.
Count
That's
on
a
it.
good tease right there. So 4 o'clock, I believe, is the next.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
For the next set time. Does anybody have any questions for these guys?
One thing too is if you do like a Hank Williams tune, bluegrass it up like you do, that's a real compliment to Hank Williams.
Well, we're not really. Yes, but we're not really changing anything that Hank did, because
Yeah,
country was almost bluegrass back then.
yeah.
Pete likes to say, anybody remember when it goes like this? Country and bluegrass was all mushed together.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm glad you know we're not
really
playing it
what
with anything different. You know, it's guitar and fiddle.
guitar.
Just take
I
out
think
the
he had-
steel and the
Yeah.
bass.
Put a banjo in there and a mandolin. And,
You're
All
good
bluegrass.
as gold.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Anybody else? I guess we want to hear a little bit more music before you go, and then we'll let you
Why don't you get the
down.
mandolin and I can get rid of this fellow.
Oh,
Yeah, he wants his guitar back.
We'll do Blue.
I want this
Blue,
guitar
you
back.
that one?
All right.
Was there anything we haven't talked about that you guys are dying to tell the assembled folks?
I think you covered it all.
We didn't talk about hobbies or anything like that.
Hobbies
Music.
always good.
Music is enough, right?
Yeah.
Keeps you busy.
Music keeps you busy. You'll break up the man.
By the way, if you want to hear them on the radio, I didn't mention, but we do have a little radio station in Connecticut, the University of Connecticut. And you can find me, Jim Beaver. We alternate weeks on the Bluegrass Cafe. So if you're ever in need of some bluegrass listening on a Sunday afternoon, we'd love to have you join us at
4 to 7.
WHUS. 4 to 7. My name is Amy Orlomoski. I think I said that.
91.7.
And, yep. Clyde is my publicist over here, and yeah, so we hope you'll join us with the Bluegrass Cafe, where you'll hear the Feinberg brothers, amongst other quite
bare
good
minimum.
ones. Yeah, you know, I have to play that.
That's good.
Yeah. Her brother.
Twist my arm a little bit.
I would tell you, we have Sirius Satellite Radio, and the only time we turn off bluegrass on Sirius Satellite Radio is Sunday afternoon from 4 to 7, when she's on the radio.
That's when the satellite gets wonky.
Yeah.
It's a quality show.
Is Buddy Marion still doing his show out on the island?
Yeah,
You've been on his.
many years ago.
Reckless days, get back on there. I'll call for it.
We're actually been doing some live in-studio music at HUS. It's all different formats, so I'm plugging for a Feinberg Brothers visit some one of these days and get you guys in there.
Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Anytime,
College
anytime.
kids listening to something that, it's worth listening to. So, all right.
All right.
So,
How about that Blue Virginia Blue there?
All right, in right here there.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you ever been to Richmond in November while the cold Virginia rain is coming down? Friend, I'm here to tell you it's no pleasure if you're all alone and thumbing through the town. Don't take me wrong, I do like East Virginia, and Richmond's full of hospitality, except for one Virginia girl I know that made perfect love right out of me. Blue, Virginia blue, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girls in the whole wide world to break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. St. Paul, Minnesota, said I need you here in Richmond right away. Take the bus and I'll meet you at the station. Pack you some clothes, I might want you to stay. My bus pulled in the station late this evening. There ain't a soul around this place but me. She must have changed her mind or she's forgotten, and her name ain't in the phone directory. Blue, Virginia blue, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girls in the whole wide world to break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. I wish I had the money for a taxi. Old Mormon Cole's a place to play with guns. Instead of standing all alone in Richmond, while the cold Virginia rain is coming down. Blue, Virginia blue, there ain't no blue wide world will break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. No, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue.
Oh, Phil Harrell will be proud of you and
All right. Well, my watch says we're just about done over here, unless somebody else has something they really dying to ask us, guys.
Thank you all for coming.
All
Yeah,
right.